For 400 years, the scholars called it peasant food. The historians left it off the map. Meanwhile, Shanghai was doing something no other Chinese city could. Sitting at the mouth of the Yangtze, absorbing French concessions, British trade routes, Japanese influence. Empires fought over it. Colonizers carved it up. A communist revolution tried to erase it. Shanghai kept cooking. While Beijing had the emperors and Sichuan had the fire, Shanghai had something no one saw coming. A port open to the entire world, a sweet, savory balance that made every other Chinese cuisine taste like it was only telling half the story. And a working-class food culture so quietly brilliant, it took 400 years for anyone to notice. Today, Shanghai runs the world's busiest port, hosts one of the largest stock exchanges on the planet, and built a cuisine on river seafood, bold flavor, and 400 years of being underestimated. Welcome to Dish Decoded. Let's decode this. The story begins in 1875, not in Shanghai proper but in Nonxiang, a small suburb on its edge. A restaurateur named Huang Mingxian had a problem. He needed to bring more customers through his door. His solution was radical. He added solidified pork broth, called aspic, directly into the dumpling filling. When steamed, the aspic melted. Soup formed inside the dumpling, from nothing. The xiaolong bao was born, the soup dumpling. A dish so precise, so technically demanding, that professional chefs trained for years just to fold it correctly. 18 folds is the standard. Every time. 150 years later, there are xiaolong bao restaurants on every continent. The dish that started in a small Shanghai suburb became one of the most recognized Chinese foods in the world. Shanghai wasn't done with dumplings. In the 1920s, a second variation emerged. The Shangjian Vao, pan-fried rather than steamed. A crispy, golden base, a juicy pork filling, topped with sesame seeds and scallions. Locals eat it alongside a bowl of hot beef noodle soup. 2 dumplings. 2 origin stories. 50 years apart. 1 city. Shanghai is fundamentally a rice city. Noodles were never the point. And yet 2 noodle dishes emerged from this city that became fixtures of everyday Shanghainese life. The first is Kongyu Bonmian, scallion oil noodles. The recipe has not changed in generations. Scallions fried slowly in lard until golden, combined with soy sauce and sugar into a rich dark sauce, tossed with fresh noodles. 5 ingredients, nothing more. It is the kind of dish that defies its own simplicity. The kind that lines form for before sunrise. Shanghai sits at the mouth of the Yangtze River. For centuries, freshwater eel was the food of fishermen and laborers. Nobody considered it refined. Manuel mian, eel noodles, proved otherwise. Slow braised eel, wheat noodles, a broth built over hours. What started as subsistence food became one of Shanghai's most beloved comfort dishes. If Shanghai has a single dish that defines its culinary identity, it is Hong Shao Rou, red braised pork belly. A recipe passed down through families for generations. Found in home kitchens and fine restaurants in equal measure. The technique is deceptively simple. Pork belly braised low and slow for 90 minutes minimum. Dark soy sauce. Caramel sugar. The fat renders completely. The meat becomes soft, sweet, and deeply savory all at once. Shanghai's version is distinct from all other regional preparations. The sweetness is intentional. Caramel sugar is not a shortcut here, it is the point. On the other end of the pork spectrum sits Tang Ku Xiao Pai, sweet and sour spare ribs. Unlike the heavily sauced version found elsewhere in China, Shanghai's interpretation is restrained. Sticky, tangy, served cold as an appetizer. It is the dish that sets the tone for the meal. In the early 20th century, Shanghai became one of the most international cities on earth. Western food arrived with the traders and diplomats. Shanghai cooks did not adopt it. They dismantled it and rebuilt it. The result was zha pie, Shanghai fried pork chops, a schnitzel in structure, but marinated in Shaoxing wine and ginger. Finished with a sauce closer to Japanese tonkatsu than anything European. Not Chinese, not Western. Something that only Shanghai could have produced. In Shanghai, breakfast is not casual. The city has 4 breakfast foods so deeply embedded in daily life that locals call them the 4 warriors. 2 of them belong on this list. Kong Yu Bing, the scallion oil pancake. Unlike other Chinese pancake styles that trace their origins elsewhere, this one is purely Shanghai. The dough is coiled like a cinnamon roll, then pressed flat. Maximum layers, maximum flake. Scallions and pork fat folded through the center. Fried on both sides until crisp. Street food in its purest form, ready in minutes, eaten standing up, invented here. The second warrior is siphon tuon, glutinous rice roll. Sticky rice wrapped around sesame, sugar, meat floss, and a fried dough stick. Dense, portable, filling. A complete meal in the palm of one hand. Every morning, every neighborhood, for over a century. Shanghai's final contribution to this list arrives at the end of the meal. And at the end of the year, tang yuan, sticky rice balls. Traditionally prepared for Chinese New Year and the winter solstice. Glutinous rice flour on the outside, black sesame paste within. Served floating in a warm ginger syrup. The shape is not accidental. Round in Chinese food culture represents completeness, family unity. The act of eating tong yuan together is itself the tradition. The food and the meaning cannot be separated. 10 dishes. 1 city. Each one born from scarcity or geography, or the collision of cultures that only a port city produces. Shanghai didn't invent good food. It invented a philosophy. Take what you have. Take what arrives at your shores, and make something nobody has ever tasted before. Dismissed as peasant food for 400 years. Stay curious.